Hello. I'm putting this on YouTube because I've seen in a lot of painters formats, guys, younger guys, asking about these machines. And of course, 9 times out of 10, they're getting all the wrong answers. So, I'm quite familiar with these things. I've used them all my life. I've rebuilt them. I know everything there is to know about them. Okay, this is the Graco EH433. This is the big brother to the EH333. The 333 has been from like 1965 to sometime in the early 90s when they finally discontinued them, where they were the industry standard, period. Every machine ever, for any other company ever made, was measured against this machine. That's it. Graco was the final word. When you look at literature for paints, spray applications, especially the older stuff, paints that have been around a long time, like Imron and MAB Seashore and so on, they still have it. They haven't updated, and they still have the EH333 as the sprayer. So anyhow, EH stands for electric hydraulic. These are hydraulic machines. This one's a 433. It'll put out another quart a minute. This is a gallon a minute machine, 3,000 psi. You can easily run 2 guns on it. Now, for some of you guys that might know a little bit about the 433, you might say, hey, that's not a 433, that's a 333, because it doesn't have the on and off switch up front. Well, stand corrected. The one with the on and off switch in the front is a later model called the EH433 GT. And it had a slightly more powerful motor. This is a 1 horsepower Franklin motor, and had a 1.5 or 1.25 horsepower Franklin motor. Still delivered the same pressure, still delivered the same gallons per minute. So why they did it, I don't know. So this is a 1972 model. And so this is before the GT, and the on-off switch is in the back. Real quick, it holds a sump of gallon of hydraulic fluid. That circulates through the hydraulic motor, and then the pump, or the pump and then the motor, actually, at 5 gallons a minute, 800 psi. By the time it hits the head, or the what I call the head, but it's actually technically called the hydraulic motor. From there, it's boosted to 3,000. So works basically like the old-fashioned well pump. There's 2 check balls, one at the top, one at the bottom. When you pull in the paint, the bottom one opens, the top one closes. On a downstroke, the bottom ball closes, top one opens. And with a hydraulic pressure behind it, it's not like pumping water from your well anymore, your water well anymore. You can imagine the kind of pressures you're getting. So anyhow, I just left the job, brought it over here to spray over in my basement, so it's already wet and ready to go. All I had to do is turn it on. Now, another thing about these machines, real quick, you don't prime them, period. Put the bucket underneath, drop it in, turn it on, and go. Bang. You want to chase out the paint thinner that's in there. When you store it, put it away, you want to charge it with paint thinner. You want to chase that out. You can use it again, whatever. But there's no priming BS on this thing. This machine is a real professional machine, and it's very easy to get going with it. No, one other thing, it weighs 165 pounds. It's pretty heavy. I'm getting older, and I used to be able to put it on off my truck by myself, but these days I use help. So anyhow, we're going to turn it on, and we're going to go rock and roll with this thing. Okay, pardon the camera. I'm doing this all by myself. See how nice and quiet it is? It's got that hydraulic sound. What I'll do is when I'm ready to clean this up, I'm going to do a second video, and I'm going to open the machine up, and I'm going to show you what's inside. It makes this thing work. It's brilliant. These machines will probably, if you take care of them, they will probably last forever. This one's over 40 years old, 44 years old. The parts, no problem for the parts. Fully supported by Graco, and there's another aftermarket company that makes these parts also. No problem whatsoever. Anything you need, you can get for this machine. Another thing that's really interesting about these machines, other than the difference between a 433 and a 333, if I bought in a Graco EH 333 in 1965, I could take it, any part off of that machine, and put it on a 1990 model, and it'll fit. They never ever changed them. They changed the shrouds. They changed, you could buy different guns here or there, but the machine itself, all the parts they never did anything with them. They're just same as the day they were made, originally hit the market. So I could take, which is nice. It makes it easier to find the parts actually, but and I guess it keeps them down to a relatively manageable price also. So anyhow, another thing, one last thing. These new pumps today are electronic, and to pump out a gallon a minute, it takes, I believe it takes somewhere around 100 to 125 strokes per gallon. This machine pushes the same gallon with only 75 strokes. As you can see, only half the wear, because you're not working it so hard to push a gallon of paint. Okay, I'm going to spray this thing, and you'll hear this thing pump. And it'll pump slow. Got all the pressure in the world. We're ready to go. Tommy, come here. This is my assistant, Sasquatch. Now, Tommy, I'm only kidding. He's like 6'8" or something like that. Come on, come here. I'm doing a YouTube video.
I don't want to.
No, come here. Hold the camera. Jeez, can't you do that? Thank you. All right.
Bobby always wants to be on TV.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. All right.
Is that what you wanted with that door?
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep the camera on me. I thought you were going to move this fan.
I was starting ready to do that, and you pulled me out here to...
All right. Okay, YouTubers, here we go. This is the machine. Hear how slow the pumping cycles are on that? It's not working to death like these modern machines do. Very, very nice. If you ever have the opportunity to pick one of these things up cheap, buy it. You'll go through 4 or 5 of the new ones in a lifetime. This one will outlive your grandchildren. So, anyhow, that's my first YouTube video for the Graco EH 433 and the EH 333. Thank you.